Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for another episode. Please enlighten us now. Of course, you know I'm your host, Ricky Spliff, along here with my co-host,
Ishmael.
And we got some special guests here today. We have the one and only Miss Nicky Love and Brother Adinkra. And it's a blessing to have Miss Nicky Love in here. She represents the Wunam Society.
Wunam Sacred Society.
Wunam, okay. All right.
Well, before you go, just tell us a little bit for people who see it for the first time, never heard of the Wunam Sacred Society, a little bit about it.
Okay, well, first of all, my spiritual name is Wunam. That was given to me by the land gods in Africa. And it's actually, the land gods are Wunam. Okay, so that was my spiritual name given to me, meaning that I am the spirit over all spirits on the earth. So that's where Wunam comes from. Wunam Sacred Society was created in actually 2010, and it was created to bring all the African indigenous cultures together to make a difference in society, in all the communities, and specifically the Black communities. So we could, start bringing our people back to their cultural way of life. And that's why I started the Wunam Sacred Society.
What part of Africa?
That part of Africa is Benin, Ghana, out of Ghana.
Okay.
But my mother's side is out of Cabo Verde, Africa. And also that's part of my traditions as well. We call that frutista.
Okay.
Okay, meaning voodoo or in that language.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people look at voodoo as a bad thing, but you're basically letting people know that it's not necessarily bad if you use it correctly, right?
Voodoo means spirit. That's all it means. And when people understand what the word voodoo means, and they'll get an understanding of what we do, deal with spirit. And voodoo is not nothing new to, this world. It's been around from the beginning of time. I like to say we are voodoo, Africans in America.
Okay. Well, Nicky, where are you originally from?
Originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. And how did you get involved in spirituality?
My mother's side, we always been spiritual. Okay. I didn't bring it out until years later. Over the years when you're growing up, people kind of frown at what you do. So you keep it secret. You don't tell people that behind closed doors you're dealing with spirituality on that level. Because back in the day, 70s, I'm a 70 babies, they frown at stuff like that. But my mother, although we did not live in Africa, we had Africa in the home. So we still had to keep our traditional ways, which means that we still knew our language, we still had to cook our food. We did certain traditional things on the maternal side, that was done in a home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same with you, Brother Dinker. How did you get to the spiritual side?
Actually, I got a reading from her about, I want to say six years ago now.
Okay.
And I was going through some issues, and she explained to me that I actually had power, and I was supposed to be doing the spiritual work that she was doing. And I was taken aback by it, at first, and it took me a while to gather myself, and actually, once I started doing it, it just seemed second nature to me.
What were you raised?
I was raised in a Baptist home, Baptist home. So all I knew was Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But prior to her reading me, I was coming out of that already, and I just started reading more. Something just kept pulling on me to read more about my history and prior to slavery. And once I did that, I started realizing a lot of plagiarism in the Bible, a lot of culture was taken from us, a lot of history was stolen from us, and that's what led me down that path.
And you just were more or less like, I'm going to get this reading, or did you get several readings, or did your spirit lead you straight to her for the first time? How'd that go?
Actually, a friend of mine, Demetrius, back in Texas, I'm from Texas, and he got a reading from her, and he was like, man, I got a reading from Nicky Love, man, she blew my mind, man, she described my grandmother to a T. My grandmother been dead for I don't know how many years, so I said, I'll check it out. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, okay, I'll check it out, just because you said so, I'm going to check it out. And when she read me, she brought me to tears, because she described my brother, who was murdered by somebody and she described the person to a T, and I knew exactly who she was talking about, and I knew she wasn't lying. And the reason why I knew, because my grandmother, before she passed, she used to always say, "You gonna find out how your brother died." She said, "It's not gonna happen while I'm alive, but you're gonna find out how your brother died." My grandmother, I didn't know she had the gift Nikki had, but I used to suspect, because she'll be sitting in a little chair watching TV, or she'll be reading the Bible, or she'll just be sitting there quiet, just thinking. And then it's like she's looking at something, and she'll just and I'll be like, "What, Grandma?" "Oh, nothing." She was just, and I just started realizing she was a seer. And then so I asked her about it later, and she was like, "Yeah, your grandma could see very well." And she was the one who told me that I was gonna know how my brother died. And then and this was like, he died when I was 9 years old, so she told me like almost 30 years later, So it was just amazing, and she described him to a T, and he had been gone for a long time. So I was just, it blew me away, and then I started really getting into it and studying it a little bit more.
And initiated.
And then I got initiated, of course.
To the sacred society, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that you think this is a gift that you realized at a young age?
I've had this gift from a very young age. When I was in Brooklyn, in my grandfather's house on East 32nd Street, I was seeing spirits, and I was like 3 and 4 years old. And I used to tell them, "Granddaddy, there's spirits up in this house." And they didn't believe me until one night there was a situation where we was all in the living room, and the dog and the cat was in the living room. Everybody was watching a movie, and the door slammed. There was no windows, no doors open. This door was like to the stairs of the house. And they slammed it, and that's when they began to believe me that I was seeing them spirits. My mother knew. My mother was very much a seer as well. And my mother knew. She knew I wasn't lying. She went out, she got some stuff, did some spiritual work in the room and got the spirits to leave. But before she did this, she had sent my sister up there with me. And we were sleeping one night. My sister said, "Ma, she's not lying. I felt something sitting on the bed at night, and the bed was shaking." Because I used to tell them, "The bed's shaking, I don't want to go upstairs, And my mother, once I told her, my mother knew that, okay, she has the gift. So my mother got the spirits out of the room and got them out of the house. But I began seeing them since I was like 3 or 4 years old. And one of the unique stories was that when my grandfather died in Brooklyn, he had been in the hospital in the 70s. They didn't let children under 6 years old into the ICU. And what bugged my mother out was we were driving to his funeral. When I said, I was in the back of the car, I said, "I know how Granddaddy died." And she said, "How?" I said, "He said he was calling the nurse for oxygen." And my mother said they stopped the car, pulled over the car, and she looked back at me. She said, "How did he die?" I said, "The nurse said he was calling for oxygen." My mother said, wow. She knew that my grandfather had came and told me what happened. Mind you, I was my grandfather's baby. He took me everywhere, motorcycles, everything with him. So I had seen him when I was at that age, when I was 3, 4. I think he died when I was 4 or 5. And I had seen him. He had come to me. And I told my mother, I said, "He told me how he died." And my mother said at that time he was on oxygen. And the story was that he was calling for oxygen. He was in Kings County Hospital. It was the worst hospital in Brooklyn. But anyway, he was calling for oxygen. And he really, they were saying that he died because of lack of oxygen. So that was, when they really started paying attention to me with my gift to be able to see spirits.
Did you ever tamper with any other, so being young, realizing you had a gift, family said you had a gift, mom raised you a certain way, did you ever be rebellious in a way and say, "Okay, I'm going to go to the church, I'm going to go to the mosque, I'm going to go to the 5%er? So I know in Brooklyn, in that area, there's so many different, in a small area, different cultures like right there where you can walk down, was it 125th area around there? And
you're talking about Harlem,
but I'm saying like in that area, there's so much that you can.
In New York City.
Pick and choose from. Did you ever like tamper with?
Honestly speaking, I never tampered with any of it. One of the things that I can tell you, in my household, we were not forced to go to nobody's church. My mother didn't go to church. We visited churches. Now, when I would go to my grandfather's house, my grandfather's wife would bring me to the church. We used to go to Methodist Church in Brooklyn. And when I would go over there for the weekends, he would take me, Nana Glory would take me to the church. And I was in the choir, and But as far as the maternal side, we didn't go to church. And that was because I think most of all, they really kept up the African traditions. Although they did like the Haitians did, which was hide behind the Catholic faith, they still, I remember, things that would go on with the maternal side, but we were never forced. And I never embraced any of it. I used to get the Muslim brothers coming at me, the 5% is, sister, you need... No, never would bother with it.
Where your parents from originally?
My mother originally from Brooklyn.
Okay.
My grandmother's from Africa. My great-grandma's from Africa. My father's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And my father was an African in America.
Okay.
I'd like to say African America, but my father was originally from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, back to your situation. So, what really inspired you to say, let me just go, you said just because your friend just said, what was the final thing that said, let me go speak to this lady?
Really just the way he described how he said he was just blown away by his reading. And me and this brother, we talk about all kinds of stuff, deep, spiritual, and all of this stuff. And so I just took his word for it because he's not a liar. He tells the truth about everything. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna check her out. That was really that was it. Just his word alone.
Okay.
So I just was curious after that. Okay. Because I really kind of was like, I thought he was exaggerating,
right?
But I believed him, but I just thought he was exaggerating. And then when I got my reading, I knew he wasn't joking.
Now, have you ever had any type of reading or did anything like this previously?
When I was, the funny thing is, when she told me that I was supposed to be doing this, I knew she wasn't lying because we as kids, we used to do little things, and I didn't realize I was dealing with what I'm dealing with now. As a kid, we used to see dogs. You know how they say if you see a dog trying to poop in your yard, you tie your two pinkies together and you pull like this and concentrate on that dog not being able to go to the bathroom and it'll work. I used to do stuff like that, and I didn't realize it was dealing with my culture. And then we used to just play little things where we would put sticks together and we would ask the spirit stuff, and the spirit would move the stick, yes or no, and all that. Just we did little things that I didn't realize that we were playing with spirits until I got older. And when I was young, my mom, she was on the Christian side. She used to do exorcisms. And when I was a kid, she did an exorcism on this lady. And me and my brother, we were playing outside. She said, "Now y'all gotta come inside."
So you witnessed it?
I witnessed it. She said, "Y'all gotta come inside because when the spirit leaves this lady, it's gonna be looking for somebody to jump into." So she made us come inside. We sat on the couch, not looking at the woman, and we had to read the Bible. She said, "No matter what happens, keep reading this Bible." So we reading the Bible, and she started calling on the spirit to come out of the lady. I don't know everything they was doing, but they was anointing her, putting stuff on her, just talking to her and commanding the spirit to leave. And when I tell people, especially Christians, this story, they don't believe me. But I still remember this to this day. When I was trying to read the Bible, the pages started going like that, back and forth. And it was bugging me out. And the chairs were rocking back and forth, and I never seen nothing like this. And so when I see stuff like that on TV, and I'm like, that stuff is real, people think that this stuff is make-believe because they haven't seen it for themselves, and I seen it at an early age.
You know what's funny about that? Because you ever seen the movie The Exorcist? Mm-hmm. Till this day, I can't watch that movie.
You scared?
I mean, because I know there's, like, you see how you're saying, there's realism behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watch it, it's not even so much a scared. It's like it might be fear because I know it's real. Mm-hmm. And the movie itself, even though it's it's cinematic or whatever, it's a movie. Mm-hmm. I guess they say it's based on real events, right? For that story. So, but the way the movie's filmed, it's certain realness to it, to where it's so real to me, to where I'm like, to this day, I can't really sit there and watch it like I'd watch another film, sit there and really enjoy it. It's just too much for me. I'm like, this movie's serious.
And that's how I used to be with the Ouija board. Like, I didn't know if people was playing and just the fact that somebody's trying to tell you, I never wanted to be around. Like say, oh, let's break out this. Nah, I'm cool. Y'all can play this, and I'll come back. It's the same kind of thing. It's like I don't know if it's real, but I can't control if they start saying, well, hey Lee, and somebody's throwing something. I couldn't. I couldn't deal with that. Yeah.
It's real being a spiritualist myself. When I was about 6 years old, my aunt gave me one for Christmas. And I remember clearly, I told my mother, I said, I don't want it. I took it, I kicked it down the stairs. I was not playing. It's real. They put a lot of energy into that Ouija board to open the portal for demons to come through. And the thing about it, I knew enough at 6 years old that I didn't want it. Yeah. I took it and I literally kicked it down the stairs. My mother said, why you do that? I said,
That's me. I never participated in that. I didn't want to be around that. Like that. I just, like I said, I feel a lot of energy. So even as a kid, I felt like a strange, like I don't even want to be around to find out who's doing, and I never messed with it. And so, you know, with that, you know, and then you have the Wunam Sacred Society. What separates? So if you go back to like African religion, it all had to start from somewhere. You know, you know, a belief in a God, one God. Some believe, you know, the other idols and things like that were just maybe characteristics, or they saw it different. And so you have your Wunam Sacred Society. What made you even come and bring that together, or to have, you know, where initiations and things like that?
I move by spirit. When spirit speaks, I move.
Okay.
And pretty much it's time. I knew when it was time, because spirit told me it was time. It's time for you all to bring Africans in America back to their culture. And basically how I would know is once I do a divination on you, I can see, well, you have a lineage that traces back to Senegal. You see, and I'll say, okay, in your lineage, I see that you have traditional healers. I see this is a gift of yours. So once I see this is a gift, you need to be practicing traditional healing. Whether you're a seer, whether you're a ritual worker, whether you're a healer. And then based off of me doing the divination and spirit speaking, I say, okay, you need to get initiated. So for instance, with Wunam Sacred Society, I have people all over the United States. I have clients in Wisconsin, not clients, I have initiates in Wisconsin. I have initiates in Chicago, Detroit, New York, that actually have a gift to do what we do. And what I did is I put them under the paradigm of Wunam, basically a covenant saying that you're going to use this for your people, to help your people, not to harm, not to cause spiritual warfare, but we're going to actually make Wunam a society where is if there's something going on in the community and a family needs help. For instance, we had a woman that had 8 kids and she needed help. My husband in jail, you know. So we get together, we do ritual for this woman and say, okay, we ask the ancestors to bless her, to get her blessings for her and her children. That's what I created for. In the communities around, I wanted initiates that were able to come in the community and say, okay, certain situations like court cases, we know they're innocent. Okay? Well, we're going to get together, we're going to do a ritual to help this brother because we know he's innocent. So this is what I created the society for us to be back in the communities. You know, they had a saying in the day that it takes a village to raise a child. You understand? Well, the village is going to help now because this is something we should know, that we have power to help by using your rituals, by using, you know, these, whether you want to call them rishas or gods or spirits, that's going to help our community now. And that's why I created Wunam Sacred Society.
Is there so if somebody's watching this and they say, okay, I'm interested in that, and maybe you have a website, or is there like a book they can read, or is it strictly off of interaction with you directly?
It's based strictly off of interaction. We have small books that we use for the initiates, like teaching them how to do different rituals and stuff like that. But I haven't written a book yet. I am working on 2 books though, but it has nothing to do with the society. It's basically taking people from the cosmos down to nature. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the society basically is coming to us. Because you have to be careful. I've had infiltrators over the years. And what disappoints me about my people is that they're so hateful and jealous. And the ones who may practice Yoruba, ones that practice Santeria, Apollo, you know, they're so jealous, you know, instead of them coming and say, let's get together because we have a bigger job to do in the community, they want to peek and see what you're doing and send spiritual war and fighting. And I don't have time for that. So when I deal with people, they have to come through me. Yeah. If spirit say deal with them, I deal with them. Okay. If spirit say don't, I'm sorry, I can't deal with you.
Is there a difference between what you were saying between like a seer and a healer? Or what's
excuse me. A seer basically can see through the depths of your soul. I mean, they talk about seers in the Bible. So I'm able to see. Of course, the Christians will say demons are seeing through us, which is a whole bunch of bull. I see it's the gifts from my ancestors. You know, we are our ancestors, and I'm able to have that ability to see, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And we must understand it's a beautiful thing. I really believe the ones who could see, like I can, actually use more strands of their DNA. And they don't want to tell us that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like that because I can go to the archaic records. If I can describe your grandmother without ever laying eyes on her, to me that's a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
A healer basically can have all. Like I was blessed with the ability to be able to see, to use my hands to heal, to know when spirit would talk to me to make certain herbs to heal your body. You know what I mean? So I was blessed to have the gifts of all. Some people don't. Sometimes you just have a see. You might see, but you don't have the gift to heal. You know, like him, he sees, but he got a very strong power to heal. He can't see as good as I can. You know, a healer may just come in, you know, and most of the time, especially in Africa, healers are seers too. Because if we divine on you, we'll see, and then I'll say, okay, let me give you this, I have to do a chicken, I have to give offering, I have to do this for you. You know, so it depends. But a seer basically is the one who just sees. You know, they call me a seer one. But I've been blessed with the gift again to be able to heal as well. So some people can have both, some people could just have one. You have people who can heal, do some serious rituals for you, but just can't see. So they come to me and I'll read it, and they'll say, well, let me send you to Wunam, she can see it for you, and then Wunam will tell me, and then I'll do the ritual work.
Is there a success rate on that? So let's say somebody comes to you and says, hey, you know, this is what I have going on, my so-and-so's in jail, or so I need this happen, or whatever, and they've heard, like let's say him, and they say, you know, I'm coming to you because of this, and, you know, they're putting everything into what you're telling them, but it doesn't come, the outcome doesn't necessarily come back the way they want. What's like, what do you think the, not say success rate, but
ask him. Ask him my success rate. And it's not about bragging. And again, to me, I always say it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing to be a blessing.
Okay.
The success rate, I'm going to say probably 98.9%. Okay? And when you understand how spirituality works, you'll understand what I mean. I just got a young lady the other day out of Philly. And I did one court case for her boyfriend. She, oh, thank you, you got him out of jail, right? Now, again, let me just make this clear for whoever's watching and listening. If you did not do the crime, I'm going to help you not pay that time. But if you did the crime, don't come to me. I'm not doing it. Simple as that. Long story short, she called me the other day. She put it on my Facebook page. Nikki, you did it again. Her sister was dealing with a situation which really wasn't her fault. But her sister was a Christian. Her sister didn't want to deal with me. So I told her, I said, look here. I said, I'm not going to worry about what your sister said because I already see the outcome. I said, I'm going to get the case dismissed for her. Sure enough, case got dismissed. She put a message on my Facebook. But this is one of many cases. Now, to answer your question, are there some that does not work? There can be. But you have to be able to divine on it very clearly. Because sometimes, you know, you can have a situation where I'll do a ritual, and I'm not going to even say it worked, but Spirit's saying, you know what, we can't do this because this person's not doing this. You got me? So it depends on how you structure your rituals, where you can have cases where I'm not even going to say it don't work. You just got to be able to tap in to see why Spirit is not going to work for this person. Why your offering wasn't taken. Because this person ain't righteous. This person lied to you, or whatever the case may be. And that's how that works.
Do you think diet and things like that have anything to do with, so I might be a seer or a healer or some different attribute, and you can say, oh, I can see you're this. Let's say, I'm eating unhealthy, or I'm doing this and the other. Does that affect how strong that blessing is for me, or is it strictly just based off of going through a process to
excuse me. Honestly, you know, I get it all the time. I smoke cigarettes, you know. Oh, if you stop smoking, if you don't eat this, you'll be able to see even more clear. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Because I see through the depths of your soul. I see stuff that I don't even tell people I see because they're not ready for it. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is that, you know, of course, in the so-called conscious community, they say, well, you know, vegans, you can see better, you can do it. You know, that's not true. If you have a gift, you have a gift. And I think, again, it stems from the DNA. I believe that we are the ones who can see like I see, or have the ability that we do. We actually use more, again, the strands of our DNA. So I believe it's deeper than that. But no, it's not going to affect your blessings or...
Only reason why I'm asking is because, researching a lot of stuff, and we're here for enlightenment, and you never know who's watching. And I've heard a lot of things about the pineal gland and some being calcified and non-calcified and stuff like that, and getting sun and the water, and I sort of believe it, but at the same time, you're coming with a different aspect, but it's the same at the same time. So that's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with cigarettes. We're not here to judge.
No. I know what you're saying. But let me get back to you. This is one of the books I'm writing called How They Stripped You from Nature. Now, yes, you should be in tune with nature. I do my sun gazing every morning. I'm waiting for the sun to come up, and when I'm not there, the sun is waiting for me. This is real talk. Part of what we do is being very in tune with nature, being able to know that when you're connected. I like to say this: when you walk outside, you walk into yourself. So when you walk into yourself, you are the water, you are the sun, you are, that tree. That tree is you. So yes, it's very important, that aspect of it, yes. Does it have an effect on your pineal gland? Does our pineal gland get calcified? Yes, it can be. But again, you also have to ask yourself the question, if that's the case. For years we used fluoride, you know what I mean? It didn't stop me from seeing. So I think it's a little bit more deeper than that. Should we be healthy? Yes. I actually have a product called Cosmic Conscious You, made with monatomic gold and many other things. I deal with the alchemy too. So basically what it does is it actually opens up I call it your first eye, because you're spiritual first. So it's your first eye, not your third eye, which actually will decalcify your pineal gland. Again, I don't think that being calcified has nothing to do with you seeing, because if that's the case, growing up, we eating this and we doing that, I shouldn't have been able to see.
Okay.
So you got to kind of wait, kind of balance that out.
Yeah. And I understand what you're saying as far as like the sun thing, because a lot of times it's cold, windy, cloudy. I'll go out and I'll look for the sun, but right when I go out to pick up my daughter, that sun will break through the clouds, like as if it was waiting for me to walk outside. So
yep.
I feel that sun.
And that's deep. You believe it or not, that's deep, and people don't understand. See, people think you're crazy. I called today for the sun. I said, where you at? You supposed to be out here today. I was looking for you. All of a sudden, as soon as I pulled back up, I went to the store, pulled back. It was right there. Yeah. Communicate with the sun. That's deep.
Now, brother, let me ask you a question. Now, since you started understanding more your situation as far as your powers, what you're healing, what are some of the benefits that you've known as far as like helping yourself and others that you've noticed with it so far?
I get a heads up on stuff that's coming. Like, a lot of times I just know when things are coming. I had, and with this gift, as I hone in on it, more with let's say the ritual work, I've had situations before I came here in Texas. I had a client, he told me that his ex-wife that he was married to did work on him, and he wanted me to remove it. And before I do any ritual work, I have to read it for myself. And then since I'm removing spirits, or I might send them back to the person, I gotta get a confirmation. And because she's above me, because she brought me in, then I read it, I seen it, work was done, I had somebody else read it, they saw it, but I went to her for the final confirmation. So she saw it, so I went ahead and did the ritual work and got the spirits out of his house. I came to his house, I made him protection. He was thankful for that. Then I made him then I actually went to his house and I called on the spirits and had them to remove the demons that were out of his house. And this guy, a friend of mine, he was like, he couldn't sleep at night because the spirits were shaking his bed, grabbing him. He said what the final breaking point was, he was laying in his bed and his daughter was trying to wake him up, and he woke up and he was choking his daughter, and it frightened him so he was just like, he had to have my help. And so I went ahead and helped him, and he considers me family after that. You know,
and he's a Cuban guy, right?
Yeah, Cuban. And the thing is, his brother was a priest in Santeria, but he was across overseas and he couldn't help him, and so I helped him. But you know,
That's interesting. Now, I mean, ever since I was I used to. Let me ask you a question. Like, you know, when people say like somebody dies in a house, like that spirit still lingers in that house. What's the truth behind that?
that's true.
It can be true to a certain extent, depending on how you deal with that spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for instance, my grandmother died 2 years ago in the house I was in. She died in the room, but after she died over her body, I did the smoking out of the frankincense and the myrrh, and then I went to do the libation to ask the ancestors to lift her up, so her body didn't linger in the house. Sometimes you can get it where they will linger, because that soul, that's called a disembodied soul, and that soul doesn't want to leave this realm. So what happens is that soul doesn't recognize that he's dead. His physical body is dead, so he'll linger around the house. But a lot of times we don't understand. That's why it's very important to do your libations and ask the ancestors to rise them, as I say, rise them up in peace.
You said a libation?
Libation.
Is that more like meditating or?
No, you all used to do it California, everywhere. When your homie died, you pour liquor on the ground. That's a libation.
Okay.
You know, same thing.
See what I mean about the culture is
The culture-
embedded in us,
Right.
in our DNA, and we don't even realize it.
Don't even realize it. Y'all been pouring libations all
Yeah,
these
you
years.
know, you pour some
Yeah.
stuff, those little things like that. Is,
Yeah. That's in the culture that you do. That's part of your culture that you don't even know you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's pouring libations. When I go out in the morning, I pay homage to my ancestors. I pour water for them, you know, thanking them for allowing me to be here, you know, paying homage to the ancestors. So that's the same thing. So you must do that when they pass and they transition on.
When you see people from different cultures or religions or things come to you, does that affect anything as far as like reading goes? So, you know, we focus more or less on, you know, Christians and Muslims and things like that because our people a lot of deal with that. But let's say somebody comes with like Buddhism or Hinduism, and they come to you and they have their ancestors. Does that any type of effect with that, or are you strictly?
I'm strictly African.
Okay.
I'm going to always be African. My maternal side is embedded in us.
Mm-hmm.
However, I respect what they do. And what I do respect about them is because we're the ones in the Western world that only disrespect our ancestors. And what I mean by that, every other culture, look at the Chinese, the Japanese, the Buddhists, they're very, very respectful of their ancestors. If you notice that majority of these people around the world call on ancestors, they know about ancestral worship. In the Western world, they don't do that. So I have much respect for a person that deals with, you know, Buddhism or Hinduism. You know, they reverence their gods. That's their culture. So, you know, it's always right to respect what they do, you know.
What do you think like the next move for our community, our culture, our people should be to get on the right path? You have people on the corner all the time like, you need to find Jesus, or you need to pray to Allah, or you need to come with the new Black Panther Party, or you need to come with Farrakhan and the Million Man March. You know, there's so many people that's pulling everybody in different directions. And like I said, that's more or less one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to find a center point, give people options, and then also give people information. So from your standpoint, where do you think the start should be? Should it be, you know, everybody come to you first and get, you know, find out what they are and what they need to do, or should people start with themselves first and try to find out what they should do? You know, what do you think the next move would be on that point, so that we can find out what the DNA that we have and move and start respecting the ancestors and going, you know, moving on, because we've been stuck in this slave mentality for.
Let me piggyback on that real quick. The same question, but pretty much like what you think right now in the climate that we're in. Like, how is important is spirituality to us right now as African people?
It's highly important, but I have to get to let me explain this to you. When you understand your original culture, your way of life, calling on your ancestors, we knew there was many gods. My thing is we must educate, okay? And what happens is, instead of trying to check, because then, let's put it this way, don't just come to me because then I'm no better than the Christian who tries to get you to become a Christian or a Muslim. You have to educate, and the real education of spirituality is when you understand. I tell people in their Bible, didn't Jesus say, aren't ye gods? Well, some of that Bible is truth, plagiarism, metaphors, lies. We do know there's a lot of African folklore in the Bible, okay, which I try to bring to their attention. Now, we're not going to tell you to put away your Bible. Did you say you seen God? If you seen God, then you did see God. You know why? Because you are to a God. So that means you have the power to manifest that God into your existence. Example, when I teach my initiates how to create their own spirits, right? I can give you, I say, a spirit name. Let's say a money spirit. I want you to name the spirit a money spirit, right? And I want you to just form something in dirt, this money spirit. And I want you to get him. We're all going to call on that money spirit. You know that spirit's going to work, right? Because we have the power interconnected. Comes back to now my other book I'm writing, Dimensional Doorways to Reality, which is telling you you are truly a part of the cosmos too. So you have the power to create. So when a woman or a man comes to tell you, I seen God, I don't doubt that you didn't see God. Because you have to remember, in your subconscious mind, they supplanted, they planted that image of God in the subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. Now think about it. Your subconscious mind is like a video recorder. Your eyes are the video recorders. Subconscious mind stores everything that you see. So everything you know is implanted in yourself. Any man knows. Now, I come to you, I give you a picture of a white man, blue eyes, right? You begin to call on them. We all calling it. So now we're putting what we call the ashe, or the death and life is in the power of the tongue. So when we say something, it happens, or we create it. So based off of that, Jesus, he's calling on Jesus, I'm calling on Jesus. And you know what? Along with that vibration of calling on Jesus is going to come that picture that they gave you. They supplanted in your subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. So now Jesus is going to exist in your world. I can't tell you if you didn't see Jesus, because you have to remember, death and life is in the power of tongue, as they say in the Bible. So if you have the power to create, as Jesus said in the Bible, I have the power to create, you will do works that I do or greater. That means he's telling you that you are God's. And God said, I created you in the image and likeness of myself. I always say, man created God in the image and likeness of himself. Without man, there is no God. You got me? So with saying that, yes, there is a God. Yes, there is an Allah. Yes, there is a, if we call on a Shango or we call on an Oya. Yes, these beings or these gods or these deities exist in our world. You see? Mm-hmm. So now saying that, back to your question, what we have to understand, it's not about, you need to be a Christian, you need to come back to your original culture. It's about what steps are we going to take on this new vibrational energy, this transformation, this portal that has been opened to become more spiritual beings. And I'm not talking about spiritual in the sense where man has told you that you need to call on Allah, recognizing who you are. So back to you, you're going to start with yourself. Start with yourself and recognizing that you're truly a part of the all. And with saying that, what I mean is that, again, you are the sun. You are the cosmos. You have the Dogon who said that we come from Sirius C. I tell people I come from planet Saturn. People look at you like you're crazy. You know what I mean? I say it's from birth to death and death to life. We're going back to ancient times now. Ancient times, they told us, as above, so below. That's in the Bible. So when you understand the metaphors in the Bible, when you read that Bible, you understand the metaphors and read it with understanding, you understand a lot of it was African folklore. So yes, God does exist. Yes, Allah does exist. Yes. Am I here to force my, information on you? No, I'm not. I need you to get spiritual. Mm-hmm. That means I need you to look within and understand as within, so without. So with saying that, the most important thing is educating people on who they are. I asked on my radio show one day, I said, what do you know? It was a very good show. I said, do you know? What do you know? People said, I have to think about it. I said, everything you know, man taught you, or another one did. Your ancestors, your grandfather, everybody did what you know. I said, what do you know? They had to think about it. I don't know nothing at all. You don't. Think about it. What do you know? Everything we're talking about, somebody already talked about. So you have to question, and then again, it all starts with you. Where do you find your place in this world? You look at yourself from the cosmos, you're just a little speck, just like a cell. Where do you find your place, yourself at in this world? So
it's all programming. That's why they got the television programming. That's why they got the radio programming. Basically, like I said, they're programming us to believe a certain thing, and then you go from there. And with the programming part, you have a program that's actually on WeTV right now, or Pilot, or Series 1. And with the programming, things that we're talking about right now, is you creating that show, or you being part of that show? Is that to bring stuff to light, what you're talking about now, or is it more or less just having different, I guess, denominations on one program? What is the we'll say from your view and the programming that's going on, what are you trying to program into people's minds by being on the Spirits of Atlanta?
Honestly speaking, I don't try to program nothing in nobody's mind.
But it happens.
It happens,
yeah.
Of course, because of the media.
Uh-huh.
However, my goal with that TV show was basically bringing our people back to knowing our culture. The culture is dying. The way of life of dealing with your ancestors and your spirits of Africa are dying. And we're saying that we know that Africa has been colonized as well. You look at Nigeria, they got white Jesuses all over the place. You know what I mean? So it seems like we're actually switching roles here. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is actually bringing our people back to the way of life. And I'm going to use nature more so, of respecting nature as being the caretakers of this planet, of knowing what we did originally, never mind just the gods itself, but knowing that, you need to respect that sun. You need to respect that rain and that water because it's a part of you. So my goal with this TV show is to basically show people not only that this is not evil, and give people the understanding of what we do, of what they've shown you in Hollywood, and the negative connotation they put on it, or we black, witch doctors and y'all evil and this and that. Nah, you see me trying to help somebody. You see me trying to heal somebody. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. Mm-hmm. Of course, some of it is scripted, some of it is not scripted.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question. On the show, I noticed that you refer to yourself as a bush witch. What exactly is that?
A bush witch is basically saying that I had training in the bush. I had training in the bush. I had to train in the bush. I had to go in the woods. I had to train in the woods. Mm-hmm. I had to do extensive training in the woods, in the forest, in the water, with springs and stuff like that. So a lot of people say, well, I don't like that term. I said, too bad, because that's what I was trained in.
Is it self-training, or you actually
had I had to actually initiate.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually, first of all, coming up through my maternal side, we had to go through certain initiations. When you're born, there's certain things they do I don't speak on, certain things we had to do. But I was also initiated with the Farfar tribe, with some very powerful witches out of Africa, out of the bush in Ghana. Excuse me, and actually they chose me. They chose me. So I had to come, they came, we had to do rituals, stuff here. We had to do training. And not only that, what was amazing about it is that they was sending them through your dreams. I was drinking certain things through your dreams. This is how powerful, this is why people need to know their culture in Africa. Because it was like I was doing initiations in the dreams, and we had to do physical initiations, we had to go in the bush. It was a lot we had to do. So I say bush witch because that's what I am. I can go in the bush and disappear. You'll see me here and then you won't see me over there. This is amazing. But that's when you're truly connected to nature. That's power that we have. And that's one of the things I want to share with my people here. You know what I mean? Because we go through so much. We're one of the most hated races in the world. Black people. Mm-hmm. And when you know that you have the power, because they know, they took your power. You know what I mean? They know. When you know that, for instance, that, if someone's trying to harm your child, and I can send a fire spirit to just do something to that person, why wouldn't you want to do that? Or if you know that you need some bills paid, or you need some money and you got some medicines to take, or a plant that will actually bring you money, why wouldn't you want that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you see a lot of Caucasians going over to our Africa, paying millions of dollars to get our secrets, but then they'll come over here and show you on their media that we're evil and we just do so much bad things. But no, this is the goal with the show. And I believe they're going to allow it to be seen. Mm-hmm. And I know by the voice of the ancestors that it's time, and you're going to see more people of color on TV because they know it's time, because they need our melanin, they need our skin, they need that, that natural melanin to come back and tell us what's going to happen. When I tell you that we're about to have an earthquake over here and it happens, oh, you want me. You know what I mean? So it's time. It's time.
Interesting. What you got, Lee?
That's about it right there. Like I said, we're more or less about enlightenment. I feel, and I move off energy. I feel the energy. I didn't feel it as much when I first walked in, but as soon as we sat down, I felt it rise a little bit. You could just feel it. You could feel it in the room, So I feel like questions that I had are answered, and I can't wait till we post it to get people's feedback, people's questions, so we can continue, building from this here, and just trying to make sure that people are enlightened, and as a people we can start making that spiritual move and stop focusing on I'm this religion, I'm this, I'm that, but focus on the problem at hand, get the information, and then move from there. And if it's bush switches, or it's my brother, whoever can help you, need to get help. I see too many people have the ego, like, oh, I'm not gonna go to her, she's a this, or I'm not gonna go to him, that's my little brother. But if somebody can help you, you need help. I can't pretend like I'm rich. If I'm broke, I need to say, hey, I need $5, I'm hungry just like you. So yeah, the information that we got today, I feel the energy, and I like it.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I noticed too, a lot of our people, we got too much pride. Like you were saying, they don't want to reach out and ask for help. And like you're saying, if help is available, no matter which way you're getting it, I wouldn't say to use certain things for negativity. Of course, I wouldn't promote that. But like you're saying, if health-wise, if you could get healed certain things, reach out for the help. And we know we need to take advantage of these things. And I had a question I wanted to ask my brother over here. I forgot to. It'll probably come back to me. But you got anything else before?
Yeah, that's about it. Anything you guys might want to say?
I want to say, first of all, I commend you all for keeping it going, because people don't understand we need more formats like this. And so I want to commend you all for continuing the positiveness, the enlightenment in many type of different ways. And I think, back to what you said, the most important thing is, I'm very, very big on the youth. I love the babies. Your babies is my babies. Mm-hmm. And people will tell you, I do not heel take. I don't play when it comes to the kids. And I think that we as a people, shows like this, shows we did in the past, basically, in the community is very important, because we have to leave a blueprint for the next generation. Mm-hmm. Right now, we must pay attention to what is going on out here in the community. This is good, but what are we doing? And more of us need to be out in the community. And I mean taking them inner city urban children, not just to, because I notice here in Atlanta, they're very big on the kids going to college. But y'all forgot about my babies in the hood? You see? Because they need our help too. And looking at these kids and knowing that these kids are some of the most brilliant kids out here. Don't sleep on them.
No, I already know my daughter. You'll see if you ever watching us. So she's going to be right here, right with me, asking questions. She's only 5, but she's advanced. I want to make sure that seeking for knowledge and being advanced stays. So, I want to have her with me asking questions, finding what's going on, hearing information, right, and to be able to decipher it herself at a young age.
And that's important.
Yeah.
I think we have done a poor job in reference to really making a difference with these. I think we forgot. And long story short, when I first came to Atlanta, I was here, raised 4 kids, 2 of them not even mine, my sister's because she passed. Long story short, young kids was out playing. I bought a house in Riverdale, and young kids were out there and they were playing basketball, and the lady called the police on them. I said, why you call the police on the boys? They could be doing worse. They could be selling drugs. Da, da, da. So what I did is I went and got the boys. I said, we're going to start a subdivision basketball team. So got the young boys, there's about 7, 8 of them. Actually, it's about 10 of them. We started a subdivision basketball team. I couldn't get near one brother to come help me with these young men. All right, next time I see 2 of them out there fighting. They was about 14, 15. I said, y'all want to fight? We're going to do it old school. So what I did is I went and bought them boxing. I went to Walmart, bought some boxing gloves. I said, this is how you're going to do it. They loved it. What I noticed here, they didn't have any community centers. In New York, we got them all over the place. So my goal was pretty much, excuse me, get in the community and deal with these young children. Because the parents forgot, why would you call your police on these young boys? They're not doing anything. It made me angry. So after I did that, I asked the brothers, well, look, I need y'all to help. Not one brother will help. That's what makes me angry, because we are the elders of these children. I don't care if it's your child, my child. We are supposed to bring that concept back. It takes a village to raise a child. What are we going to do in the community? That's what I want to know. We ain't doing nothing in the community. Because everybody got ego. You got the parents, the fathers, and mothers that's irresponsible, doing their thing, worried about their men, their women, or whatever's going on. But what about the babies? And I have a very, very big problem with that. I'm very strict on your baby. Like I said, your babies are my baby. You know, I'm dealing with the youth in the street. I'm dealing with the gang members. I'm asking them questions. Why do you do this? And a lot of people don't know. I had one of the Crips on the show. I said, why did you do what you do? Well, I didn't really want to do it. I want to start a painting company. We thought about it. We talked about it. Know what I did? I said, y'all really want to start a painting company? Because I used to own one when I was up north. I owned several businesses. I said, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to get y'all shirts. I'm going to get y'all some clients. Y'all really want to do that? Y'all don't want to be out here, son. Nah, Miss Nikki. Nah, Miss Nikki. Okay, I got y'all. I wasn't just talking about it, I was walking about it. And what I did is I went to them young boys and said, we're going to get you some cards, we're going to get you some t-shirts, I'm going to get y'all a couple of jobs around it, but I need y'all to take off from that. A lot of people don't take the time to talk with these youth, and that's what I want to bring out. We've got to do better in our communities with our youth. They need us. You know, everybody, oh, they ain't none of my son. Really? Okay.
But when he rob you, then you're upset.
Upset. Now, mind you, out of the 10 young boys I was working with, as a matter of fact, Waka Flocka was one of them that was in my house. And how I would pull them in, because I did music. I do music too. And I would do rap beats for them, make tracks for them, and I pulled them in that way. But out of 10 of them, 8 of them I saved. One of them got killed. He broke my heart, but he had a lot of issues. But the point is, I saved 8 and they come back to the same thank me. Because I was that woman in that community that said, you know what? I care about y'all. I even got them boys walking on. I said, give me a hug, and they started getting used to that. A lot of these kids need loving. That's what I really want to see more of in the community. I'm gonna leave y'all with that.
Anything you want to add before we wrap it up here?
I just think that us as traditional healers, we need to do more positive work instead of like my fiance said, fighting each other spiritually. That's unnecessary. Too many people want to have the ego and say, oh, he got a little power over here, I'm going to see if I can shut him down. And then they get hurt. So it's like, stuff like that is unnecessary. Let's use our power to come together and heal the community.
Okay, I have a quick question. On the show, I noticed that you had your children involved. Now, how important for you to have your children involved with spirituality? How important is that for you?
That's very important.
Okay.
Very, very important. I even got my grandkids calling in the ancestors. My granddaughter say ancestors.
And
okay, she's 4, but I mean, it's very important that they know their culture.
Okay.
You know, again, with the maternal side, it was embedded in my head. You're African, you speak your language, you cook your food. That's passed on. We had a very, very strong matrilineal side. My mother and my grandmother, they didn't play. I didn't play with my daughters. So I wanted them to understand this is what you do. But it's important too to know that you have other things to help you. Using your spirits, using your ancestors, calling on the ancestors to guide you.
Oh. And also, you were saying about, you know, the communities coming together and stop fighting with each other. Now, also on the show, I noticed they were saying that it's a small community here. Now, being that, I mean, you know, my partner and I, we're not in the community. How, in the spiritual community in Atlanta, how is it something that's growing? Is it something that's just already stable? I mean, how big actually is the actual community? I mean, obviously you don't know everybody, but from what you know, is it something that you see that's growing? You can answer that?
I could tell you this.
All right.
A lot of people practice spirituality, but you will never know about it.
Right.
Because a lot of people like to, like I say, they like to throw rocks and hide their hand. So if say for instance, if you know that you have a friend that does spiritual work, right, and y'all get into it, but he never told you, then all of a sudden you start having issues. You just can't get yourself together. You start losing money, and you're like, what's going on? And then you might come to me or her, and you get a reading, and then she start telling you, oh, I see this guy. He's about this tall. She start describing him. Y'all hang around a lot. He works at your job. She start telling you stuff like that. You start breaking down. You start, okay, it's not him. Then you start, how does he look again? He has glasses. Okay, now you're narrowing it down. He has a little gray on his beard. So when she started telling you that, you're like, really? And so you'll have a hard time believing it because all they talk about is Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So people do things like that. So if they ever found out, it's still in your mind. You like, I don't know. She might not have been right about that. So saying that, people like to hide. You know what I'm saying? Just like you have people that come from Africa that say, oh no, I'm a Christian. But a lot of people come to us for work that are Christians, that are, that are other religions. So I can just say, don't be fooled by it.
But the thing is, to elaborate on what he's saying, there's a lot of people in Atlanta that practice
a lot
traditional medicine.
Okay.
We just all stay in our own little corners.
Okay.
You go to the West End, you got a lot of the brothers and sisters that deal with Yoruba. I have brothers and sisters that deal with Palo, with voodoo, Haitian voodoo. You know what I mean? Me, I don't get in the mix of them. They have they be doing their bembe's and they be doing a lot of stuff. I don't get in the mix. I'm the one that stays in the bush. And they know that Nicky don't get in the mix of that. Because, like he said, of the spiritual warfare. But I don't even want to put that out there because you got people that kill in the name of Jesus, that molest in the name of Jesus in Christianity. So let's not put that negative energy out there, but understand that there is a lot of people that practice what we do. But again, remember what I was telling you earlier. A lot of people don't talk about it because you have to remember Atlanta is the Bible Belt. And most of these people that practice the tradition are from uptown or Chicago or California that are grown up in a diverse environment where they're used to seeing people. You go in Brooklyn, you see the Haitians deal with voodoo. You know what I mean? Whereas here, it's kind of new. You know what I mean? So you still have a lot of people that do this, but they stay behind closed doors.
Okay, we don't want to take all you guys' time up. You guys are putting this beautiful building here together. Before we wrap it up, we want you to let everybody know, where you guys are, what you guys are trying to do here, and if they ever in Atlanta or if they're already in Atlanta, where they can come, your website, address here, they can come in and get the readings, get to see you.
Okay. Again, led by the ancestors, the name of our store is Spiritually Speaking. Okay. We are in the process of opening up a store where we can bring to the community that has an option, where they can come if they want spiritual readings, divinations. Also, we have the relaxation room. I'll go with the stores not to just market to people of traditional medicine. We're going to offer services for people who deal with Buddha. Products that people would deal with Buddha, that deal with Hinduism. So we're actually, we call it Spiritually Speaking, it's for all your spiritual needs. So if a Christian across the street want to come and get some candles, it's here. So basically, again, it's time. Spiritually Speaking is a store that's going to market to the community. And also educate. We're going to have classes. We're going to have, different classes on spirituality and stuff like that. So this is the goal with the stores, to bring spirituality to another level, whether you're Buddhism, Christian, whatever you want to call yourself, to another level. Whereas, you have an option to come to a place where it offers you services, whether it's classes, whether it's readings, whether it's tarot readings, whether it's prophets that come from the church.
You guys should be open in April.
We're looking at April.
Okay. Probably
the second week of April we're looking to open. We haven't put it out there like that yet because we have to do the work over the store first for protection, because you got hateful ass people. I'm just gonna be real. We have to, so we haven't put it out. That's why I haven't put it on my website. But actually, if they do want to get a reading or they're interested in what we do have a website. It's Nicky Love, Wunam. and that's NICKYLOVEWUNAM.com, and there we have all that we do. Whether you want a divination reading, we charge anywhere between $25 to $200, $200 being on webcam, and we'll do that. We do rituals, and we try to be reasonable for the community, okay? And for those who want to know why we charge, because this is what we do. I do anyway. He works, day job, but I do this 24/7. So this is how I pay my bills. So besides the TV show, I'm constantly either reading or doing spiritual work. But I try to keep it affordable for the community. And we do not discriminate. That means if you don't have money and I see that you really don't, I'm not going to turn you down. If I'm here to help you, this is my gift, I'm going to help you. But you best better believe, when you do get money and I make a ritual to get it, you better donate it back. Yeah. Because it's only, it's sort of blessing, it's sort of keeping the blessings circled. I bless you, you come back and bless us. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm a very big believer in that. You don't have money, but I have the gift to help you, so I'm not going to turn you down. So, this is the goal with the store as well, but we do have a website if anybody's interested in getting any work or rituals done.
Or exorcisms, or...
Oh yeah, we do paranormal. For those who call it paranormal, we do exorcisms. We do cleansing homes, we do businesses, so we do that. And people fringe at exorcisms, but I don't like demons. I shut them down. And I ain't trying to tell y'all, I'm not playing. I can't stand demons. So when I walk in the rooms, when I've done exorcisms in the past, and demons start fleeing. He'll tell you. They get scared. So we do exorcisms, and we need to pay attention to this because people don't understand. The Catholic priests perform 165,000 exorcisms or more a year. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they can't deal with them. I've had them call me. We are getting a large amount of people in the community, and the Black community, y'all don't get it confused either, that are dealing with what we call walkthroughs. Where people are being possessed or being classified as schizophrenic when they're really dealing with demons and disagreeable spirits. So yes, we get rid of those. And again, we do house cleansings. If you got spirits in the house, we do that. All the paranormal things you want, we do it.
Okay. All right, well, that should do it for the show. Like I said, I thank you guys for coming out, man. It was a great show. I enjoyed it. Anything you want to say before you?
That's it. Anybody who didn't know, now they will know. Please enlighten us now. And we're here with Miss Nicky Love. I just want to thank you guys.
All right. Thank you for having us. And blessings. The ancestors are going to bless y'all.